These are massive military exercises at military proving grounds across Siberia and Russia's Far East. Around 300,000 Russian troops are involved. That's twice as big as the last major military exercise on this scale, which was over 30 years ago. That was Zapad, that's West, Zapad 1981, when Russian, or then Soviet troops and Warsaw troops deployed about 150,000 men across Eastern Europe. So this is pretty huge. There are Chinese troops involved and Mongolian troops. The Chinese are sending 3,200 men. They're deploying 900 vehicles and 30 aircraft. The Russians are deploying 1,000 aircraft, 36,000 vehicles, 80 warships. This is a huge event, and it's the first time ever that Russia has invited the Chinese to participate in such an exercise. In the past, there have been exercises where the notional enemy of the Russians has been the Chinese. That's not the case now. The Chinese and the Russians are working side by side. These exercises are so big that NATO have even condemned them as a large-scale practice for a large-scale military conflict. So, this is a very big exercise coming this week and starting this morning.
Okay, so a serious show of strength there from Russia, and as you mentioned, the first time for such involvement from China, all a bit, I imagine, to intimidate, I guess, notably the West, perhaps the UK, the US.
It's certainly designed to send a robust signal to the West and perhaps, yes, to the UK at a time of international tensions between Russia and the West following the poisonings in Salisbury, the war in Syria 4 years ago, the occupation and subsequent incorporation of Crimea from the Ukraine. It's certainly meant to send such a signal. This exercise really is saying to the West, we're here, we're working with the Chinese, don't mess with us. And, that's something the West has to pay attention to. However, the numbers. Some analysts say that last year, during the Western exercises, Zapad 2017, the Russians underreported numbers, stating there were only 12,700 troops involved in order to avoid having foreign observers come, as is required by the Conventional Forces Europe Treaty. They may be overstating the numbers this week in order to ratchet up that kind of intimidation and signal that they're sending to the West.